So for the first time in my life, I've missed my stop. As I stood up, I realised that my Oyster wallet was not in my pocket, so I walked back to my seat, found it, and within that time the train doors got locked. They gave me no time at all, to be honest, to get off the train, so I have about a 34-minute wait for the train back from the next stop, which funnily enough I did think about doing today anyways, because this is a new station for me, but I was going to save it for another walk another time. So much for that. There is actually a selection of old railway posters on the platforms at Crowborough Station which even advertise walks which you can do in the area, such as Ashdown Forest. So what I was going to start the video off with, now that I've made it back to Eridge Station on the same train, is that at first glance this station looks fairly ordinary until you look across to the adjacent platform and it feels like you've been transported back in time. And there was a fantastic map on the platform that does the history for me, because Eridge is just a single platform station nowadays, even though there is a disused one just there on the line to Arkfield, which in itself used to run further down towards Lewes, but there used to be other branches, such as one down towards Polegate, one over to East Grinstead, and one up towards Tunbridge Wells, which since 2011 has been turned into the Spa Valley Railway that calls here a heritage railway that stops at Groombridge and High Rocks halt along the way. Now, it was back in 2021 that I first came to Eridge Station, where I walked up to Groombridge and had a look at the old station there. I do actually have a little bit of footage of a steam train that was operating, which I'll play now. You can see as the train leaves, the track curves. That's because in the years since Groombridge's station closure, a house had been built on the former track bed, so they had to rebuild around it. From Groombridge on that walk, I walked along the old railway line towards East Grinstead, but I'm not doing that today. The trains aren't running today either. I'm instead doing a Saturday Walkers Club route. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. There are many walks on that website which are very rural and just go between two kind of very random stations, mostly in the southeast. Because I'm already slightly delayed, I'm gonna get on with that. I was destined to start this walk late. An earlier train was a few minutes late today. I pelted across the station, so I made my next train. I only made it with half a second to spare, and if I didn't, I'd be an hour behind. I'm almost an hour behind anyways. But I guess at least we did Crowborough Station, right? So the walk so far has already been really rural. And I've just found out that I'm going to be walking a section of the Sussex border path. We are in East Sussex, and that is quite fitting for something we're going to have a look at later. So I go through this gate, and then over the bridge, and then I kind of turn inwards on myself. I go left, so through another gate. I'm coming off of the Sussex border path. Oh, there's also the high-wheeled landscape trail. That's another long distance footpath. And then yeah, so up here, and then I guess yeah, around and through the woods. Oh dear, this is very overgrown. Luckily, it's easy to just push out of the way. It's not just stinging nettles. That would be atrocious. Actually, I've somehow gone the wrong way, so I'm having to go through this again. This is clearly a path, and yet on Strava heat maps, no one's done this at all. So where was I meant to go? Because it looked like there was only one way. No, it's right back down here. So it was somewhere near the bridge. Okay, so there is a path to the right. It's the high-wheeled. So So I could have just cut straight across to do a bit of a shortcut, but I saw the high ridge and thought, no, I should probably stick to the path because there'll be a bridge or something. So I just wasted time. I already wasted enough time today. Oh, I still got a bridge to cross after all of that. So the high wheeled goes down there. There is a sign saying private. So I guess I do this. And I just had a look at the map to make sure that I should. And this bridge, this little brook I'm having to keep crossing over, is known as the Bad Brook. I don't know what's so wrong with it. Ah, that's a strange big rock to come along on the footpath. Some more over there. It's like a little cave almost. And there's a gate here to keep deer contained. I'd like to see some deer. I've never had to connect a gate up like this before. I don't think that's in properly. Oh god, it's just hard to do with one hand. Right, there we go. That's in now. Okay, it does seem like I'm coming off of the high wheeled. So that's 2 long distance footpaths so far. I wonder if I'll come across the same ones or any others for the rest of the walk. Oh, well now I don't know what way it goes. Somehow I'm still on it. This is really steep. It's not called the high wheeled for nothing, I guess. So I just took shelter under that tree for a little lunch break before realising that attached to this tree is a ladder. I thought maybe there's like a little tree house or something, but it's just a platform. It's quite unusual to come across this. I've only really seen this once or twice on other walks before. I couldn't resist not climbing up just to get the impressive view from up here. One I've climbed before on another SWC walk, and it was a Pulborough circular. I remember there was a deer out in the meadows and I got a view of the South Downs, which was really nice. So my walk is taking me through the private Buckhurst estate, which seems to be quite delightful. I think there's a manor house of sorts somewhere up that way. I don't think we quite get to see it. And the Buckhurst estate has brought me out into the village of Withyham. There's a pub sign, but there's no village sign, it seems. Withyham does have a very modest looking church, which I really like. Well, it seems I've come across my first pillbox of the day. I do know that we will see some more. Tactically, it's on a very high ridge piece of land here. Okay, who's done this? I can't unhook that unless I untie it, and I can't be bothered. Even if I was to get it all the way over. It's locked in there. I can't do anything about that. I'm just gonna have to crawl through. Oh, I didn't realise I meant to unhook it from the post. Usually unhook it from the gate. Okay, that's just me being silly. Nice long field ahead of me though. In the sun. It's hot. So Withyham might not have had a village sign, but the neighbouring village of Hartfield does. Seems to be a lot more built up. It's even won awards. Best kept small village in 1991. Best kept village in all of Sussex, 1992. I have a suspicion that there used to be a Hartfield castle. Actually, there is a mound there. Could that be the site of it? So I find myself now on the former railway line I walked in 2021 from Groombridge to East Grinstead, known as the Forest Way. You can actually see where this would have split off from what is now the Spa Valley Way at Groombridge. There is a Hartfield station a little bit up there, which I've decided not to go to just because I have seen it before and I might as well stick to the route and see a little bit else to Hartfield. There was even a Withyham station up that way, but there was less to see there as far as I recall. Didn't realise that I'd be crossing the railway at grade. I thought I might have a bridge under or over it. Perfect little bench though, by the way, there. Take a little break. Speaking of bridges, I do have one over here. over the River Medway. Strange to see it in its lower reaches rather than its more infamous locations, its more well-known places it passes through in its estuary form, such as up at Rochester. What I remember about walking the Forest Way, the old railway, was that because I got so distracted by the steam train and Groombridge station, and because I did it in October, and it's quite a long walk over to East Grinstead, I did do the last couple of miles along the old railway in complete darkness, which was pretty fun. And then the following summer, there's another railway from East Grinstead continuing down to Three Bridges, so I walked that one as well. I love these old mill buildings. They're popular in these parts. I'd say they're a real staple of rural Sussex walks. So similarly to my railway walk in 2021, I've done another walk on the Uckfield line in 2023, and that was also a Saturday Walkers Club route from Hever to Ashurst. So today's walk is very much just filling in the gaps, essentially, on the map. And I remember it because I'm on the final path towards Ashurst now, where at the very end you come across a pillbox that I'm currently sat on. So I guess for today's walk, if you wanted a shorter one, you can start or end at Ashurst. But as you do, you cross over the River Medway, which at this point is acting as the border between East Sussex and Kent. I have noticed, by the way, that I am back on the Sussex border path. I've also noticed that around Withyham is where I finally left the high-wheeled landscape trail. And additionally, I've also seen signs for the wheeled way. That's 3 different long-distance footpaths I've come across on this walk. They're the obvious walk to do. This is a more obscure one that kind of merges them all together. I didn't get a shot of a wheeled way sign, because I thought I was staying on it. I thought there'd be another one, and then there wasn't. And because of our close proximity to the River Medway, the number of pillboxes have increased. So that's our 3rd one of the day, hidden over there in the brambles. I think there's another one hidden around here somewhere. I think it's down there. I think I can just about make out its roof. I'm not going to go see it though. I'll just stick to our path. So I've got another little river now that is a tributary of the Medway. It's known as the Kent Water. It's a very overgrown little brook, and as its name suggests, it does act for its entire length as the border between East Sussex and Kent, like the Medway did. So this is the part where my walk leaves East Sussex and enters Kent for its remaining parts. I just like how arbitrary it is. Golfers crossing this bridge to get to their next hole are not going to realise that this is the border between East Sussex and Kent. This unassuming little stream. It's meandering a lot through here, and we are essentially following it for the remainder of the walk today. I was going to say, ironically, it's still the Sussex border path, but I mean, we literally are following the border, so I guess it's fair that that's in Kent here. I mean, the London Loop heads outside of London, doesn't it? I think, by the way, I've hit a new record today for number of styles on a walk, which are slightly annoying to get over, especially if there's so many of them. But this isn't even a style, this is literally just a bridge with metal bars on it. Slightly easier to climb over, I guess. Okay, I didn't realise that we would be crossing the Kent Water again. So, I guess forget what I said. We're heading back into East Sussex. Ideally, I want to catch the train an hour behind that one. I am actually passing under the railway line here. Okay, here we go. I'm crossing over the Kent Water again into Kent again. And now I'm passing under the railway line for the third time. That must mean the station is close now, right? No fish and chips? Okay. I'll have a Cowden station. Village of Cowden is quite far from the station. I actually passed through it on that Hever to Ashurst walk. And now that I think about it, it has a very similar village sign to Hartfield's that we saw earlier. I've realised that I've tended to travel on this line every 2 years. So I've done today's walk in 2025. We did Hever to Ashurst in 2023. I did the walk from Eridge in 2021, and I first travelled on this line in 2019, where I did do a little walk between Uckfield and Buxted. And so I was going to say, I'll see you in 2027 for when I come back and do a Crowborough walk, but I'm not too sure if I'll do that quite so soon now, because I've now visited the station. So I guess the only one I've not been to on the line now is Edenbridge Town, which I've walked past recently on an Edenbridge to Lye walk. This is a station that has one platform but has very clear evidence that there used to be another. It was taken out of use in 1990, which seems quite recent in the grand scheme of things, and I think is a bit of a missed opportunity because it just creates a bottleneck. One train's delayed, the one coming the other way is going to be delayed. In fact, this whole line is a bit of a missed opportunity. If it still ran through to Lewes, that would be a brilliant connection, and you could also divert trains this way in times of disruption. This looks like a former siding, or a goods yard perhaps. The Uckfield line has nice quiet stations as well, which is always a bonus. And it's the only line out of London, the only southern line out of London, to be unelectrified, which makes it quite unusual. I've always been a fan of the Uckfield line. It is one which is definitely had better days. Very long platforms though. In the peak, they run longer trains because of all the commuters coming in and out of London, but off peak, it's only about a 3-coach train, but these platforms I'm fairly certain can fit a full 12 coaches, which is a bit nuts. To be honest, mine might be quite long. It'll be probably 9 maybe. Won't be too long. Oh, I can see it's delayed actually. That means the one going to Uckfield is delayed, which means it's causing mine to be a little bit delayed. That's what happens on this line. Oh, it's only 1 minute late. I can live with that. And hey, I caught the train I wanted to. I did hurry up a little bit, but I still kept a nice leisurely pace to enjoy the walk, which I did. From what is now the Spa Valley Way at Groombridge. Dog whining.